tides and storms. A harbor that shelters its identity from the ravages of time with pride and with care. There is pride in the rich of the city. There is care for the beauty of its buildings and the well-being of its citizens. The city is New Bedford, Massachusetts. It is a city that listens to the conversations that its buildings carry on with each other and with the waters that hug its shores in the distance. It is a city that hears. It hears of its own beginnings, its prosperous and romantic years as the whaling capital of the world and as a thriving cotton milling center. It hears stories of hard times when the city was not strong, and it wants to stop listening. But then it hears the proud and caring voices telling of preservation and renewed vitality. The city hears these voices and listens. The city has a history, a long and proud of daring seamen braving the raging seas to light the world with candles made from the oil of the whale.
By 1850, two-thirds of the American whaling fleet sailed out of New Bedford Harbor. That percentage increased until the last days of the whaling industry, an industry that was worldwide in its scope and that supplied the city with its economic base. Even if men did not go whaling themselves, most of those gainfully employed in the city were involved in trades that supported the industry. As Emerson once said, the city was no closer to the whales than any other, but they hugged an oil cask like a brother in New Bedford.
Whaling was king, and New Bedford became a city of grandeur as early Quaker restraints on worldly goods were cast aside.
You have, again, beginning in the early 1820s, expenditures on furniture, on domestic architecture, on clothing, in a way that would have startled the old-line Quakers of even 2 decades earlier. Most dramatically revealed in New Bedford, this occurs in the large, costly homes thrown up largely by whaling merchants or whaling masters, certainly all, as Melville said, based on money harpooned and dragged up from the bottom of the sea.
To the sensitive listener, these houses compose stories of gracious living on a hill overlooking the harbor in the 19th century.